to the maximum of that, especially just after feeds, because all of these nice floaty bits will have to be removed so everything stays nice and clean.
Oh, look at
Now,
that
I'm
one.
going to go onto the fish, and I'll start with what's probably everyone's fan favourites, being the sharks. So we have 4 different species total in here, and sadly I can't cover each and every one in the detail they deserve, but if you come back in about half an hour, there will be a shark talk, talking more about these guys in depth. So to start with, we have the great reef shark, which is one of these over here. They're characterised by being grey on the top, as well as having a white belly, and then some black lining on their pectoral, which is where their arms would be, as well as the tail on the end as well. Now, great reef sharks do live in reef environments. The area you can see behind you is meant to be a coral reef, so they'll spend pretty much their entire life swimming around these areas, using those very strong tails to swim pretty fast, and try and chase and capture their food that way. However, there is one that looks very, very similar to these guys, but it's a lot more precise in how they hunt.
Oh, what that one?
So these are called white-tip reef sharks. You can see one on the side over there, and these guys have a white tip on their dorsal, which is on the middle of their back, as well as their tail at the very end as well. White-tip reef sharks don't just chase their food, they also work together with other members of their species and actually go inside of the coral reefs, using their very slim and narrow bodies to go underneath the coral areas and chase food into their own homes, which then they'll work as a team just like a little cat put on land to corner them into one area and take them down that way. Now, they're very, very social species. It's not all just hunting, as they do like to sleep in large groups together, forming things that I like to call puddles, where you can see anywhere from 5 to upwards of 20, all sleeping in the same area, both for warmth and protection as well. On from these guys, we're going to go on to ones that are more of a bottom feeder type of species, meaning instead of chasing their food around or trying to hunt it inside of their homes, they'll instead work on foraging through the sand. So the first of these are called zebra sharks. Zebra sharks sadly are not black and white and striped as adults. Instead, they're more of a brown sandy coloration, and they have a few brownish black spots scattered around on the top as well. If they're quite young for the species, you'll also see some white stripes here and there along the body, of which one part zebra sharks still have. Now they get their name from when they are first born, as zebra shark butts actually are black and white and striping. This isn't camouflage as a type of zebra. Instead, there's a very dangerous snake that lives in the same area their eggs are laid, called a banded coral snake. These guys are black and white and stripy as well, and if you've ever seen a baby shark before, you'll notice that they look very snake-like in their appearance. So predators will always avoid these banded coral snakes, as they very much don't want the nasty venomous bite that comes with them. So when baby zebra sharks look almost identical, the predators will also avoid eating these guys as well. Then, last but not least for the sharks, we have one that's called Timmy, and he's our one and only nurse shark. Nurse sharks are a nocturnal species, just like white tips and zebra sharks, but unlike these two, they have actually not really adapted too well to having more of a diurnal cycle and being awake during the day. So they'll spend most of his time sleeping in the dark area on the left, and just trying to get as much shut-eye as possible, while it's still nice and busy out, and then once it quietens down, he'll come straight back out and then start swimming around as usual. Now, on from these guys, sharks are a very special group of animals. So they actually have completely different skeletons to what humans and other mammals might have. So as fish, they have something called a cartilaginous.
Oh, a turtle! A turtle! Oh, wow!
So with sharks, their cartilaginous skeleton means their entire skeleton is made out of the same stuff your nose and ears are made of. This makes them not only quite lightweight for their size, but also it means that they're extremely flexible. As you can see, whenever they turn around, they can sometimes almost turn in on themselves when they're trying to move quite quickly.
Wow! Oh, look at that turtle! Isn't it like the turtle one? Yeah, like the turtle.
That are also part of this group called elasmobranchs. So one of these is called stingrays, and you've probably seen one of them swim by.
And then say the turtle.
So we've got the honeycomb tails and these southern rays. Both these guys also have the exact same cartilaginous skeleton. There's also a much more impressive animal in here that's also a member of this group called the green sawfish. So I've seen the male come by twice already. He's actually the second largest one in here, with the biggest one being the female. which is a little bit longer, but not as twice as muscular as
Monkey
he is.
of the turtle.
So both of these two are actually very, very lucky to have him here, as they're very, very rare in the wild. So
And I
they're
don't
something
think
called
I want to
critically
say it.
endangered. This means their population is vastly reduced from what it used to be, and they're very, very close to being extinct in the wild, as they're very quickly running out of areas to live, as well as breeding partners to actually make new offspring with. So sadly, this might be the one and only time you ever see a green swordfish. Now, on a slightly lighter note, we do have a lot of rescue operations here at the Peak as well, and your ticket sales do go towards a lot of conservation actions out in the wild as well as in here. An example of that would actually be our two loggerhead sea turtles called Mabouche and Centebeca. So you saw Mabouche dive straight down to the bottom of Dino Face from the window, and she's the least graceful one out of the two, as it was quite evident there. So both of these turtles weren't actually born here at the Deep, or brought in from another aquarium. Both of these two were actually raised in the wild, but they sustained very bad injuries, which meant they had to be rescued, and the leftover injuries were so bad that they actually could not return and safely live a long, happy life. So while they're out in the wild, we believe it was a fishing line that had wrapped around their lower beaks and cut off all blood circulation from where it was tied around right to the very tip. So while the top of their beak is completely fine, both of them are missing a sizable chunk of that lower beak. For Mabouche, she's missing 2/3 of that beak, whereas Centebeca is a little bit better off and only missing half instead. This means sadly though, they cannot really eat too well, as if you ever try to eat with just the top half of your mouth and not letting it fall your bottom half, you'll find that it's almost impossible to actually eat. Both of our turtles have to deal with that, so they have special feeding practices where they will hand feed both of them to make sure they're still getting